Hi, YouTube family. I'm Patty Jackson. I'm your auntie of pop culture. It's not cute not knowing. Now we're going to know. We're going to start off with a hug. Come on. Am I having a better day than yesterday? Yes. Yesterday, I call it too much brain consumption. I was trying to learn new stuff for the weekend edition. A new version is up right now. I want to thank David A. Gaines, who's with us for our weekend editions. There was stuff going on with the podcast. It was just like things, and I just wanted to throw my hands up and go home, but I couldn't. So we're here today. Woo! More hot stories. I have to thank you for your comments. Cat Williams is still breaking the internet over what he said about fellow comedians. And it is okay to agree, to disagree, because we're not always going to think alike. And I like people who can get it, because it's all about having a conversation. It is okay. We can agree to disagree. We don't have to agree on every doggone thing. With Cat Williams, he spoke his mind. Shannon Sharp, it was funny when people said, "Who's Shannon Sharp?" I said, "Well, you're not a sports fan." He has a show on YouTube, which is really popular, because now this Cat Williams interview has gotten over 12 million views. He interviewed the comedian. Club Shay Shay, they sit there, they had a henny, they be sitting down drinking. It's a conversation. He is not some hard-hitting journalist, because they were like, well, you should have asked more hard-hitting questions. Shannon Sharp he's not a journalist. They were having a conversation, and Cat Williams spoke his mind on a number of things. Now you're starting to get reaction and people speaking out. You know that saying, this too shall pass? For some, they're taking that road, this too shall pass. Ricky Smiley just said, look, I wish you the best. He wasn't even getting to it. But Kevin Hart has responded, and Cedric has responded. Both nice men, by the way. The end of the day, they're nice. I felt really bad for Cedric, because he's just one of them all-around good guys. And I guess he doesn't want people looking at him like, you're out here stealing jokes. Cat spoke his mind, his way, and what he has perceived and seen and what happens in the business. His ticket sales have jumped. He's coming to my neck of the woods in February in Atlantic City. Those ticket sales have tripled for people wanting to see Cat Williams. He has a right to speak his mind and his views, but the clapbacks have started, and Cat Williams is standing 10 toes down on what he has said. But we all have to agree. A lot of people are being exposed. A lot of people, they've been exposed, they're going to be exposed, and this is the year that it's going to happen. I think Kevin is a little more upset. He has a new Netflix movie coming out. He's always working, but his new Netflix movie, Lift, starts streaming on Tuesday, because that's the day that they start to do that. But everybody has a right to share their opinion, and Cat Williams spoke his truth his way. We remember actor David Soul, for many of us in the 70s, Starsky and Hutch. Even though that show only ran from 1975 to 1979, it was one of the biggest hits to come out of the 70s. David Soul was not only an actor, he was a singer. In 1977, he had a song entitled Don't Give Up on His Baby, and he was everywhere. It was a huge hit. I remember watching him on American Bandstand. I was like 14. But David Soul was a huge star who wound up leaving the United States to become a British citizen. He had been battling cancer at the time of his death, as well as a pulmonary disease. Starsky and Hutch was such a great show. Huggy Bear, Paul Michael Glazer. It was just one of those 70 standouts. He leaves behind 6 children, and he had been married 5 times. But David Soul passed away at the age of 80. Johnathan Majors is coming to Good Morning America. He's going to be talking to Lindsay Davis. Good Morning America. The interview is going to air Monday morning. He's going to talk about the assault trial, the ex-girlfriend, a British dancer, how he was found guilty, dropped from Marvel and Disney. He's not going to be Kang the Conqueror. His sentencing is in early February, but what could be next? And how does he pick up his career after being found guilty? There's a new limited series about Muhammad Ali coming to the Peacock Network. It's a limited series that Kevin Hart's starring in and producing. But Samuel L. Jackson is coming aboard playing a black godfather, a mafia kingpin. This is the basis of the story. 1970, Muhammad Ali fighting Jerry Quarry. It's Muhammad Ali's first step into the boxing ring because he was banned for not signing up for military service. Muhammad Ali was very defiant and said, "This ain't my war, this your war. I'm not signing up." So he's banned from boxing, but now they let him back in. Like I said, 1970, the biggest fight at the time. That night of that fight, all the people with money came out to this party. Well, everybody that went to that party on the night of the fight got robbed. It was one of the biggest armed robberies in history. Everybody that went to that party got robbed because they knew that's where the money resides, at this party. Well, this Peacock limited series is going to focus on that fight, that night, and everything that ensued. Now, I said that Kevin was starring. He's not playing Muhammad Ali. Just going to put that out there. This Sunday, it's the 96th Annual Golden Globe Awards. History is going to be made on Sunday night. Joe Coy, who is a Filipino actor and comedian. It's coming to CBS and Paramount Plus. The Golden Globes, the history of the show is funny. It's more of a party night. But the Golden Globes was canceled back in 2020 because there were no black people voting. They were like, how y'all voting on movies and not one? Well, now they've changed it up. It's more diversity inclusive to represent Middle Eastern and Asian and Latinos and African Americans. Everybody getting a chance to vote. I think it's going to be the big night for Oppenheimer. Is it going to be a big night for Barbie? Will anyone win for Color Purple? They're adding like these big theater movies that did great at the box office. When you think of, like your Marvel movies, Taylor Swift Eras Tour, will they walk away with a Golden Globe Award? Well, Quinta get something for Abbott Elementary. It's going to be an interesting night, but it airs, like I said, CBS on Friday night. Now, speaking of the Color Purple, Danielle Brooks and Fantasia are both nominated for Golden Globe Awards, so this is going to be interesting. Now, speaking of the Color Purple, despite breaking records on Christmas Day, making $18 million in that day, Christmas Eve, best box office opening on Christmas since 2009. The Color Purple is underperforming at the box office. December 25th was Christmas Day. Today, January 5th. Or if you're watching it, maybe the 6th. So far, it's only made $44 million at the box office. What do you think went wrong? See, this is the thing. It cost $100 million to make. You got to throw in a marketing budget, maybe about between 40 and 50 more million. And the marketing for this movie was massive. To be a big hit globally, or just to kind of make its money back, it's got to make between $200 and $300 million. It costs a lot of money to make movies when you got these big budgets in Hollywood. Some people cited the abuse, the trauma, and the homosexuality. Now, You must have never read Alice Walker's books. You must have never seen the version in the 80s or the Broadway musical. A piece of it is a woman's healing, and she finds love with another woman because she never experienced tenderness or love. Can't see why people would be upset. And I was like, where y'all been? This been the story. People say, I'm tired of seeing Negro slavery movies. This was not a slavery movie, because I'm the first one to say I ain't trying to watch no more slave movies. This was not a slave movie. It was just the era in which it happened. Was it the press tour? Because I don't care what they say, even though they say we love each other, we love each other. I know Oprah, I know she was pissed when Taraji started talking about how she was treated, the money disparities, yada, yada. I know she said, are you doing this during my press tour for my movie? Because it's Oprah's movie. Taraji is not going to have an opportunity like this to bring up this subject. She's not. What's her next role? An audience like this, because Color Purple was everywhere. A lot of people cited that because they were somewhere, and Oprah had this frown on her face, but when she realized some cameras were trained on her, she turned around and she smiled to Taraji. But when she walked up to her, she had that pissed look, like, yeah, you just gotta look. I think she was very upset because it's like, this her movie. Are you bringing this up now? I think there was some missed opportunities. Something happened with The View, y'all. Now, I know Oprah and Whoopi don't get along. Something happened because they were everywhere. A lot of people are tired of Oprah. They're like, oh, tired of it. There's the young people supported. I know I did a little informal survey asking young people, are you going to go see it? How come? And a lot of people were like, I don't know. We do live in a society. Of people wait for it to come on streaming. And they just older people saying, this is coming on streaming. This is coming on streaming, by the way, sometime this year. But some people will wait. They won't go out to theaters. They're going to wait until it comes on streaming, because that's just how it is. Did men support this movie? Did black men support this movie? There are a lot of questions as to why it could be underperforming. Can they make the money back through streaming and, DVD versions and all that kind of stuff? It could, but not the money to really make it a smashing success. I would love to know your thoughts, because when I asked you for your comments, most of you loved it. You said, I love the movie, I went to see it, yada, yada. But it is underperforming at the box office. Continue to let me know your thoughts on Cat Williams, him speaking his mind and speaking his truth. This is the year a lot of people are going to be exposed. Some of the people will never open their mouths about this. They're going to really treat it like this, too. Shall pass, because by Monday it'll be something new that everybody will be talking about and breaking the internet. But please, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel. We can agree to disagree. And if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. There is a weekend edition, so we got a lot of stuff going on, and we're doing some things differently. This weekend, if you listen to podcasts, I have one called Patty and the Millennials. I'm surrounded by great voices. No, Auntie is not a millennial. I'm a baby boomer. But the conversation between millennials and Gen X is fascinating. We talk about trends for the year. When you think of the year 2024, you got the Summer Olympics in Paris. We've got another presidential election that's going to be interesting. One of the big trends for this year are some people over 50 who are getting off of social media. Why, you ask? They want to get back to having a more authentic life. They remember life before social media, when you talk to somebody in the restaurant or in the line at the grocery store, or just being more, nowadays, some young people, I won't say all of them, Some young people do not know how to communicate unless they got this in their hands. Unless they got this, they're just texting. And I know I get annoyed when people be wanting to have whole text conversations. And I'm like, pick the phone up. I'm not doing all this texting. But they say, are you surprised to hear that there may be some older people who are just getting off of social media and turning their backs on it? It's pretty hard to do because you can get so much information, but you can also get a lot of bad information at your tips. Let me know. You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Pandora. You can find us where we live. It's a whole new season, and the ladies and men, they came out swinging. They were ready to talk. But if you love great conversation, you got to check out Patty and the Millennials. Thanks for joining me. The weekend edition is up. Look at us being early for the beginning of the year. But there's so much to check out. Leave your comments and let Auntie know. Have a great weekend. I'm so glad that you guys have a chance to check me out. No matter like what time it is, we are here with the loose curls, big curls, and scoop. It's me and Loretta rocking out this week. Thanks so much. Leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you never miss anything, because there is always something going on. Thanks for joining me. I'm Patty Jackson. I am your auntie of pop culture.